Hello, everyone, and welcome to our discussion today on streamlining the locate process, mitigating risk while achieving accuracy and speed. By equipping field locators and infrastructure owners with access to the latest utility maps on a single standardized platform, we are aligning people, processes, and tools for a common goal. And that common goal being completing a higher volume of construction projects in a timelier, more efficient way. Today, we have with us Kris Philpott, Vice President of Planview Utility Services Limited, an engineering and GIS firm with 3 locations across Ontario. Kris and his team currently service a multitude of utilities, municipalities, and telecoms with engineering and GIS solutions today. Cody McMullin, Manager of Asset Optimization and Spatial Data at Oakville Hydro, the 9th largest electricity distributor in Ontario. Lisa Brown, Director of Operations at PVS Contractors, and Lisa oversees a large-scale national field services team in both Western and Eastern Canada. And my name is Liz Neziol. I'm the Director of Engineering and Construction Growth at OEC, and I will be hosting the panel discussion here today and our lovely guests at the 2021 CCGA Virtual Damage Prevention Symposium. Welcome, everyone, and we are super excited to share with you how we have united infrastructure owners and locate service providers on a single data sharing platform, enabling us to complete capital infrastructure builds more efficiently. So my first question today is directed to Lisa. Lisa, hello. As a locate service provider, what are some of the biggest challenges you're seeing in the industry across locators, excavators, and infrastructure owners?
Probably the largest challenge is the high volumes, which in turn contributes to backlogs. Part of this is the ramping up of the economy since the pandemic and challenges with the current labor market, but also practices by ticket requesters that can unintentionally burden the system. So some examples of these include what we call ticket dumping, which is basically when a ticket requester puts in a large volume of tickets in at the same time. In the absence of priority lists, this can be challenging for locate service providers to manage and can often lead to relocates, which again puts burden on the system. Also, the size of the requested dig area being larger than what's actually required. Some of this could be an excavator taking a conservative approach to the project, or it could be that when they enter the ticket, they didn't have the time to refine the dig area. And also, in an attempt to fast track locates, sometimes emergency locate requests are put in that don't necessarily meet the criteria of locate emergency. So all these things are basically a consequence of stakeholders trying to independently manage timelines, but the unfortunate side effect is a vicious cycle of increased strain on the system. So if we work collaboratively, however, locate service providers, excavators, infrastructure owners, we can manage the system much more effectively. This sometimes requires more effort on the front end, but we reap the benefits through aligned production. Some other challenges include inaccurate or outdated infrastructure drawings, and this is throughout the industry, challenges with keeping those up to date. And basically all of these negatives contribute to increased potential for damages and the liability and costs associated with that, which obviously nobody wants.
Okay. Very cool. And Cody, as a hydro infrastructure owner and responsible for asset management at Oakville Hydro, what are some of the challenges that you're faced with to ensure that service uptime is guaranteed and business continuity is seamless at Oakville Hydro?
Yeah, of course. So at Oakville Hydro, we have a dedicated team here that focuses on updating our internal records to match that of the field. As the town of Oakville continues to grow in this fast-paced developing world, we're seeing homes being remodeled, new developments pop up, and the town expanding its roadways and infrastructure. So all of these external factors need us to be more diligent when it comes to maintaining our records. And we want to make sure that the locators in the field are given the most accurate and up-to-date records to better perform their work. These accurate locates reduce the potential for damage to our infrastructure. It maintains our reliability and helps promote the electrical safety for our workers as well as the public. So we are only as good as our data, and better data means better decisions. So our major concerns and challenges are twofold. First, we had difficulty sharing our documentation, whether it was physically or through online applications. It was just a manual process. And number two, the frequency of sharing information needed to be instant. As soon as we changed our records, we wanted their records to reflect that. So the accuracy and timeliness of our documentation was important, not only for preventing damage to our existing infrastructure, but also to the safety of those working near our assets. There are different degrees of risk when digging, depending on what's buried beneath. An accidental contact with our electrical infrastructure can be very, very dangerous, making it even more important to ensure that our data is accurate and passed along to the LSP in a timely manner. So thank you, Liz. That was an excellent question.
Oh, anytime. There's more, more where that came from. So this one is actually directed to Kris. As an engineering and GIS firm, Kris, what feedback are you currently receiving from your customers on these similar issues and challenges today?
Yeah, we're hearing from both, the infrastructure owners, municipalities, utilities, telecoms, as well as the locate service providers, that there's a trend towards a one locator approach, right? So much like we see movement towards one call systems over the last decade or so, where you make one call to request your locates for a given region. We're now seeing a movement towards more and more utilities collaborating and getting on the same page to send a single locator to a site and marking on behalf of multiple utilities. So the challenge that introduces is, how do we get all of the utility records from the municipalities, from the telecoms, the gas, the electric utilities? How do we get all of those records in different formats in the hands of a single locator, right? So in the past, it would be 4 or 5 different locators arriving on site, working on behalf of each of those entities. But now we're going to one locator. And so, the challenge around getting that much data to one locator in a standard format, so they don't have to have multiple applications, and the data is secure. So we developed a solution called Multiviewer, which is part of the OneView.works platform that does exactly that, standardizes what the locator is looking at, allows them to be, one click away from viewing each of the different utility data sets in a standardized format that's agreed upon by the infrastructure owners and the locate service providers, to ensure, the locator is looking at the data in the way it was intended to be. We're also hearing security and data distribution concerns from the infrastructure owners, right? Some of this data is, highly, secure data that, or sensitive data, that's the word I was looking for, highly sensitive data that utilities don't want to get out in the public. And traditionally, going way back, this was on paper, and so there was less concern of that data being leaked. So moving towards a digital environment, we are hearing concerns around security. In this day and age, obviously, we hear of data breaches quite often. So leveraging partners that are regional and local. So as an example, in Ontario, the utilities have standardized through our platform on a data center that is physically located in Ontario. And so the data is, physically secure in a data center that meets all of the typical requirements, but also the way the data is managed and distributed with security protocols like multi-factor authentication, all of those things in place, data encryption in transit as well as at rest. All of those meet the various utility requirements, and that's built into the platform, allowing the utility to be comfortable knowing that they are getting their data out to the locators in a secure fashion, and in a timely fashion. The data distribution is also a concern when you have multiple locators working on behalf of your utility. When you do have an update, like Cody mentioned, you want that update, as soon as you make that update to your internal enterprise system, you want to make sure that you have a model that pushes that data out to the field staff, and you need to be able to guarantee that that update occurred and that every single member had that update. So we address that through the solution, and that allows the utilities to know that they do not have locators working off of legacy or stale data in the field. The other thing that we've heard from the locate perspective is, due to the seasonality of the workforce, onboarding and training is a yearly challenge. And bringing those data sets together into a standard tool really helps streamline the onboarding and training of new locators, because it provides that consistency. So they're not needed to learn multiple applications to view each of the different utility data sets. It's all provided in one easy to use interface.
Wow, that sounds like a locate and infrastructure utopia, especially not having to concern yourself as an infrastructure owner with security protocols and security compliance frameworks and all that sort of stuff. It's already baked into the solution so that everyone can focus on their core business instead. So my next question is actually for Lisa. Let's see here. Lisa, as the Director of Operations, you do oversee a large field services team of locators. What are some of the biggest operational improvements you've seen in the field since your team's been using the platform?
Right, so PVS conducted a pilot project last year in cooperation with Oakville Hydro, and this is using the multi-viewer platform that Kris just described. And so the objective of the pilot was to compare the markup of utility provided records versus the DPT created digital sketches that we would typically do. And these were on Ontario One Call locate requests. So the findings of the pilot included some time studies which showed savings in every category, from single addresses to street projects, with street projects and fiber to the home demonstrating the greatest savings. So for example, using the DPT created digital sketches, a ticket could have taken us 70 minutes, whereas leveraging the utility provided records, taking a screen capture of that and marking that up, we were down to 4 minutes.
Wow.
And we observed this improvements on 97.5% of locates. So they were completed faster while still fulfilling the legal requirements for documentation.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so across all the categories, documentation time was reduced anywhere from 5.5 times to 15.5 times per 30-meter segment. And then if you're looking at average time per ticket, we're talking 6 minutes and 2 minutes if we're looking by segment. So conclusion of the pilot, basically on a mass scale, the potential for operational time savings is significant. This does, however, require some degree of accurate record keeping by the utility, which can be especially challenging if we're looking at new developments. So therefore, you still want to have a DPT on site who can leverage the quick access to these records on hand to accurately complete the locate. And then the combined use of utility records and field locates further mitigates risk for damages by contributing to locate accuracy and reducing the ticket backlog that I talked about earlier through time savings.
That's very cool. So you guys have really seen some market improvements in leveraging the platform.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Wow. So Cody, this question's for you then. At Oakville Hydro, what are some of the benefits that you've seen across your team, and how does the platform make your job easier to manage infrastructure assets?
Well, first, it's great hearing all the benefits for Lisa and her team. Now, on our side, so we implement a strong asset management plan, and it consists of, monitoring, collecting data, and making decisions on our existing distribution system. That's like the focus of our asset management plan. In addition to that, we're focused on that customer experience. Decisions are made to proactively replace deteriorating assets before they fail. This benefits the customer by improving the reliability as well as keeping those costs low. So by providing accurate and timely data to our LSP, it ensures that our underground system is protected by any accidental contact. Not only does this keep safety as a very top priority, it also eliminates the downtime a customer would experience if an interruption were to occur. So streamlining the data transfer process has really enabled the locators to make better decisions, knowing the records they have are up to date. This also gives our team the confidence that our underground infrastructure is safe and the individuals working nearby are safe. And this aspect of safety cannot be overstated. The risk is real when dealing with electricity. And if we can achieve 100% safety from this initiative, then any extra benefit that we've talked about, such as system uptime or business continuity, it's just the cherry on top. Thank you.
Wow. So basically enabling you to focus on, again, your core business while having just a comfort level around safety and anyone who's working near Oakville Hydro infrastructure.
Absolutely. Yep.
Amazing. Really good to hear. So then, Kris, how can municipalities and utilities get access to this platform and learn more about it?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, Multiviewer, it's part of a platform that we call OneView.works. And it's currently used by over 1,600 locators and over 35 utilities and municipalities throughout Canada. So absolutely can reach out directly to Planview. You can contact myself. You can contact Liz actually as well. And we can provide bit of the backstory, but also a presentation. And in many cases, we're in the position to be able to provide a demonstration of the solution specific to your utility or your infrastructure data set. Because we have the experience working with so many different utilities, we're able to quickly bring data sets in and view those data sets in the tool in the standard format. To be able to help potential or interested customers visualize what the opportunities are. We also, Multiviewer really is working for two different groups, right? So the infrastructure owners, like I mentioned, as well as the locate service providers. So if you're a locate service provider out there providing services to multiple customers, Multiviewer can also streamline your process by consolidating the data into one standard format.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff. So basically, if you need a locate done, you call one call. One locator is dispatched by way of the Locate Alliance Consortium, and there is one tool by which everyone accesses the latest and greatest information and utility maps called OneView.works. This is pretty incredible stuff, aligning people to processes to tools. Great. Well, thank you very much, everyone, today. And it was a pleasure hosting this session at the virtual symposium on damage prevention at the CCGA. If anyone has any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to myself or Kris at Planview, and we'll be more than happy to help. Have a lovely rest of the conference, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Thanks. Take care.